Welcome to the Grit and Grow podcast, where we talk to guests who are pursuing excellence in both sport and life, who encourage and motivate us to become better mentors, coaches, parents, and athletes. My name is Shane Sowden, head men's basketball coach at Briarcrest College, and also your co-host.
And my name is Justin Simpkins, co-host and director of Prairie Hockey Academy. This is part 2 of our conversation with Casey Bruggeman. In this half, we go even deeper. Casey opens up about what leadership really looks like when the spotlight's off, when you're in a support role, when you're questioning your path, or trying to love your players well in the grind of a long season. We talk about relationships, not slogans, and how they're at the heart of building a team culture, how faith and failure shaped his coaching voice, and why he believes that great coaching is about more than just winning. It's about transformation. Let's jump back in. Let's go right back to Concordia. And, you spoke kindly about your mentor there and coach, Rich Glass. And so I just think, he talked about, he actually had a quote about you. And you just said in all of his years coaching, you said, 30 years or more of coaching. So in all of his years of coaching, he's never had a player who, because of injury, could not compete and instead became like the heart and soul, the leader of our team. I think that's really cool. And it's an awesome compliment to you and your character. But I think my question for you is, what's the best part of leadership for you?
I get a little emotional hearing that. Just it's a powerful experience with that team. I believe 100% in the power of leadership. It is really so impactful. But I also think it's not a title. It's just a set of actions. It's serving others. It's trying to step forward with courage in the areas where God is calling you to step forward in. And to me, that's really leadership. It's doing hard things at different times, but it's also being there and just being with someone at a time where they need it. And some of those things I'm strong in, and other areas I have a lot of growth that needs to be done here in the next chapter. And I'm excited to tackle that. I think I was a terrible listener in Stone Harbor. I was trying, but I need to, sit down, be present, be a better listener. But just leadership, it's so powerful. But for me, it's just trying to serve others. I think it's really important, and wanting more for them too. I think for me, maybe as a player, to just touch on that Concordia College basketball experience, I had such a great experience playing in the programs that I got to play in when I was growing up. I wanted my guys to see the power of hard work, the power of team chemistry, the power that when you accomplish something that you've worked hard for and that you've had great fun relationships with your guys and you did it the right way. Wow. That's something that you'll always have. That's really living life to the fullest when you're pursuing something with others, when you're all serving each other. It's the power of a team, and you're doing something special together. I think that's maybe what I wanted my teammates to experience at Concordia. I wanted them to reach their potential and us to reach our potential and feel that, because I think if you can do that in life, that's fun.
With that being fun, I guess my question is really, what's the best part of that to you? Reaching your potential.
I have to lean back on my faith. I think, God gives us gifts in life. We've all been given certain gifts and certain opportunities that we have to step into with courage and just go for. And I can tell I also get off mission when I have my own idea what that path is, right? Instead of following God's path for my life, but having the courage to follow that and just to feel there's a truth to it that I think you can feel as a person, as a human. We're all leaders, whether or not we're in a leadership position or not. We're all leaders, and the fun is wow, I did the right thing there. I did give my best effort. I did show up the best I could. I did take that step, that hard step, that step that took courage. I did that. And to me, that's doing something that matters. And when you do something that matters, that's fun.
Casey, after being in a support role for around 8 years. And now, what's the best part about being a head coach?
I feel very fortunate to be at a university that has a president, an athletic director, a set of coaches, and athletes that I feel like I can be 100% be myself, and I can live life with full passion and run a program in a way that I feel like is most true to me. And I work for some tremendous people during my career. But they have their vision, and your job as an assistant coach in a support role is to help them turn that vision for the program into reality. And I've taken bits and pieces from each coach's, well, a lot of pieces from every coach I've worked for. But I've been able to now, as a head coach, just like, this is what I think's the best way to do it. And we're just going to go for it and just be able to put 100% energy behind it. And just there's a big responsibility with that, no doubt. But that's been the best part about being a head coach, is just be able to go do it and to have all these ideas and to put them into action.
Awesome. Awesome question about best part being a head coach. I want to go back though, because I really felt, and I was going to kick Shane under the table, but he's a long way away from me for interrupting. But I need to go back because I felt like for our listeners and for us, Casey, you were just really sharing your heart and your actual real true values of like, what's the best part of leadership for you? And it's, it's power of hard work. It's leaning into your gifts. You said, and the faith aspect. And then it was this idea that, we're all leaders. And you said, it's just like finding your purpose and knowing that inside of that purpose, again, leaning back into your gifts and your faith, knowing that you did something that you were supposed to do, something that you were called to do, and that you did it right. And I mean, like, to you, I'm just really curious, like, what's the best part of that? Knowing that.
Maybe doing it right was maybe the wrong term, but just doing it in a way that you can look back and like, I gave it my all. I gave it my all. And there's a sense that for me, the best part about that is like, I think that's what life is all about. And in John 10:10 is my favorite Bible verse. And the last part of that verse is that you should have life and have it abundantly. And I think that's an abundant life right there, where you're really able to go for things, to be put in circumstances where you have been uniquely gifted to help, and working hard to try to do your best and ultimately do God's will.
Appreciate that. I think it's really deep. And I love that concept that you've been put in situations that you've been uniquely gifted with. I think that's pretty cool. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, you're welcome. I feel very blessed. For some reason, I've been given some experiences, mentors, and skills to coach the game of basketball, and I'm just excited to keep working as hard as I can to impact our players and those around me in a positive way.
I think your leadership, and where you're at, you feel this, that you feel that you're living out John 10:10, that you've been uniquely gifted. You've been blessed to have opportunities to learn from some leaders, to be in the role that you're in right now. And I think you're living that out.
I love, as we deep down, like what's best about all those aspects of coaching, of your life, of your role. We talked about your injury, your senior year, like your sophomore and your senior year. But it sounds like the senior year injury was more serious. But along the way on your coaching journey, what's been the most difficult situations moving forward? Like, what's been the hardest part and the challenges over the last 9 years that you learned the most from?
I feel like there's different challenges all the time. I feel challenged every day, and I've learned to embrace that. And that's one thing I want our guys to do. Just to pinpoint maybe one in particular, it was going from being the head assistant coach at Minnesota Duluth for 4 years, where Coach Wick gave me ultimate freedom to have a big influence on the basketball side, the recruiting side. And then I went into a total support position as the director of basketball operations at the University of South Dakota, where I was an assistant for the assistant coaches, helping them with their player development, helping them with their recruiting. I was the assistant to the head coach, helping him track and manage our budget in a prudent way, to plan travel, to plan experiences. I was very much in a support position. And what a humbling thing for that 2 years. What a humbling thing for those 2 years to have all this desire to just do on my own, to really have to sit back and listen and try to support the best I could. And I think I kind of sucked at it, to be honest, for 2 years. But I tried. I really tried hard to support those assistant coaches who were doing great work, and support a head coach who was doing great work, and just be there for them, to help put their vision for whatever their task was into motion. And that was a challenge for me, having had so much freedom at Minnesota Duluth to kind of do it on my own as the head assistant, to then step in and support 4 other full-time coaches, and very much be in a support position for them and for our guys. So it challenged me in ways that I could not have anticipated, but those challenges helped me grow more in those 2 years than I probably had grown in the previous 6 as a coach.
Well, then what was hardest about that? Like, what was hardest about going from being the lead assistant to now being the support guy for the lead assistant? Like, what was at the core of that hardship?
For me, not being able to be the lead man for a relationship building aspect with our players in recruiting, being on the court coaching them, that was challenging for me, because that's what I love doing. I love being in those positions to sell the vision for our university, as far as like, here is what we have going on and here's where we want to go with it. I love being on the court with our guys and be like, this is what we're working on, and here's how it's going to help you be great. I was not put in those positions very often. Now, I got more responsibility in that role than a lot of other guys in that role, because Coach Peterson was really good to try to put me in those positions. So I'm thankful for that. But more often than not, I was in that support role, and it was so good for me to have to step back for 2 years. And it made me reflect a lot, journal a lot. Okay, what is actually the most important for me? What do I love doing the most in this business? And what do I want to do if I get the opportunity to get back into that lead coaching role, you might say, in the future? So the hardest part was having that passion for it and not being able to just let it loose. But also, I think God put me in that position for 2 years to really learn. And I got to learn from some incredible people there over the course of 2 years. So it was all in the plans, you might say.
Mm-hmm.
In those journaling moments, what did you learn about yourself?
Well, here's a fun little exercise I did with a coaching buddy. I was going crazy, right? I was going crazy. I had all these ideas, and it's like, you're not in this role to be putting out all your ideas. You're in this role to support. So I was kind of going crazy. I'm like, I have to get a little bit of an outlet for this. So, one of my best buddies in coaching and I, every day we had categories: offense, defense, culture, head coach development, recruiting, and we would just blast off 10 ideas a day at each other. Within those different categories, 1 category a day. And that was so fun, because then it gave me purpose. I wrote down what I believed about a certain specific item. Maybe it was, here's how I think you should recruit the state of Texas. And then all of a sudden, now every time we recruited a kid from Texas, it's like a scientific experiment. You got to see, well, hey, you thought you believed this, but that's actually not true. Same thing goes for how to address a team, how to install an offense, what would be your best way to teach help side defense. Put those ideas on paper, and then be able to, you're just observing. So you get to see it. You're like, well, if my idea would have been inserted in the practice here, that would have made it go dismally bad. So we need to scratch that off and find something different for the future. So again, I got to be in such a unique role there where, man, I had those ideas, and that just helped learn and cement some things. So when I stepped into being a head coach, I think I had a clearer understanding of what could help us be successful.
Pretty cool. Who knew that in a position like that, you'd have the opportunity to be a bit of a lab, right? A coaching lab type of science experiment. And that's neat. I like it. Okay, It's Justin here, and if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, you know that I'm a coach, a husband, and a father to 3 busy kids. A couple years ago, one of our daughters was really struggling with her sleep and her breathing and crowding in her mouth. At that point in time, we started looking into things that could help her. And I'm proud to say that we came across a company called Saskmile. The team at Saskmile was incredible with our daughter in helping us figure out a solution for her health. The team at Saskmile made a real difference in her life, in her breathing, in the crowding in her mouth, and in her airways overall. My daughter's back to sleeping better, not grinding her teeth at night, and being able to just breathe, which goes a long way in her physical development. If you have a child that you're concerned about, whether they're snoring, mouth breathing, grinding their teeth at night, struggling with feeding, or just overall mouth development, take my advice. Reach out to saskmile.com. Their team there will offer consultations and incredible help for you. That's saskmile.com. saskmyo.com.
I'm curious, Casey, is there anything you intentionally do, whether it's preseason, during the season, like to build culture, like team type activities? Like, is there anything specific you delve into to emphasize building the culture that you want?
For me, I always hesitate to make things too much about this is what we do and this is my plan. This is what we do every year to build our culture. Because the first thing with culture, it's relationships. So it doesn't matter what activities you always have planned or what different sessions you have planned. It still always starts with the relationship and the work leading up into those moments. With that being said, I do believe in being intentional and trying to create spaces for our guys to connect and to just spend time with each other. I will tell our guys, we are a family, and you have to spend time with your family if you're going to get to know them. There's certain dates on the calendar where you know you're going to have to go see your family. Whether you're super close with them or not, you're going to spend time around the Thanksgiving table, around the Christmas tree, spending time together and just experiencing life. So for us this past season, in my first year, I had our guys, we spent the first 4 Friday nights together, probably just for about an hour and a half. We went bowling, axe throwing, came over to my house for a barbecue, had a movie night. And then, so we spent time together as a team. And then Saturday mornings, those first 4 Saturday mornings, we spent it in the community doing community service, packaging food, visiting senior centers, cleaning up around the grounds at UJ. So those first 4 Friday nights and first 4 Saturday mornings spent intentional time. And I think, I can't remember his name, if it's the East Coast soccer guy that JP has done some podcasts with before, Force Family Fun. I think I just stole it from him. So none of the ideas I do, I'm not that creative. It's just steal from somebody else. And like, okay, like I want to do this with our guys. So I think that helped us. It's just like, guys, we're going to spend time together. Like that's important to me, especially in a smaller community like Jamestown, that you have to learn how to do things together and to find your own fun. That's something that we got some positive feedback from our guys after the season. And I believe in the service aspect too, just having some investment. So when a guy cleans up all the pine needles below the pine tree in the middle of the quad, or cleans up the trash next to the science building, he's going to walk by that the next day and that looks like some pretty nice grass over there. So that's just creating a little investment in it. Like I said, I think the ideas are great. Like different slogans are great. We try to always remember though that it starts with relationships from a culture building standpoint. Like I'm not huge on trying to have a ton of slogans. I want us to have really great relationships, spend time together, and then give back to our community too.
You keep talking about relationships, and we know that's crazy. It like might be number one for you. Like, from just getting to know you the last few years. How do you go about just you as the coach developing those? Because I hear all the time from coaches, and I've used it myself. I don't have time. And so, yeah, how do you go about developing those relationships with your players?
I still think I have a long ways to go to be able to spend more intentional time with our guys and help them off the court. I think one of the things that I try to do is just be consistent with them. Be consistent and try to be a good role model for them. Try to listen. So for me, it's just, hey, I've never been like talk on the phone all day guy, but I am intentional about trying to get on the phone with our guys, especially during the summer. I try to just meet them where I'm at as much as possible, check in, try to remember things. I'll create a Google sheet with all of our guys, have a tab, and just if I have a conversation with them and something noteworthy comes up, just pop that in their Google sheet just so I could, hey, next time I talk to them, I could ask them about how their cousin did at the rodeo or something like that. And just like, hey, coach was actually this, and I'm trying. It's not always easy. My brain can be going at 1,000,000 miles an hour. So you can say I'm kind of an energetic guy, but to just slow down. And I just think just trying to be a good role model for these guys and just really care for them. I think those things go a long ways. So for me, it's the impactful interactions and the impactful support. I think that's what I try to aim for. And I think that's been my relationship building style.
So I want to be curious for a potential coach listening. And, Shane mentioned there's coaches that tell him often they don't have time. What's the best part of building relationships with your team?
Well, when someone has to pause before they answer, you're making them think. So that's a great question, Justin. I just like it's a mission thing for me. It's about what we do. Like we want to accomplish great things. Like that's the vision, right? To be great in everything we do. But it's how you do it that makes all the difference. It's being locked in arm, literally or metaphorically, with your guys and just being there for them. Being in the trenches. I would never want to compare what we do to any type of war, but that kind of in the trenches mentality that like, I got your back, you got mine, and we're in this together. Like there's that brotherhood, there's that sense of connection that you have in a relationship that it really just makes me feel like I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah, but why does that matter?
Well, what are we here for, right? Like it's about the people. It's about the people. I think maybe the influences from my coaches in the past. It's just you're gonna have these relationships. That's just what's gonna matter. I think very early on, maybe winning was important to me. When I was like, I needed to win, I needed to accomplish this. It's like, well, you win it. It doesn't even feel that good, right? Like it feels better when you're just with somebody and you're working hard and you're doing something together. I think those relationships, the why behind them is that is what unlocks your ability to transform their lives. And that's my why, is to use the game of basketball to transform lives. And hopefully through that process, we're able to inspire others to do the same.
Okay. So, Coach, what if I said, though, that sounds soft and I'm paid to win games and win championships? So how's that going to help me win?
There's a cliche in basketball. It's not about the X's and O's. It's about the Jims and Joes. We'll throw everything out the window if it means, for those better relationships. And something I still struggle with as a coach. I've been fortunate. We've had some success here in my first year, and that losing and that fear, it does creep in. And we all want to win. We're all competitive, but it's about your guys. And I think there's a human performance element too, that when they feel supported, when they feel loved, when they feel present, they're going to perform better too. So you can lift them up to the standard, or you could just sit on top of the standard and yell down at them and just expect them to come up and grab it. Like even if it's for a selfish reason, relationships are still a way to unlock peak performance. And for me, for us, I think we try to be very genuine about our relationship building. We care about our guys, whether they score 1,000 points in their career or one. I want them to feel valued. We had a full junior varsity team last year, 32 guys. I was really proud that we went 32 for 32 as far as retainment through the whole year. I don't think that's been done there in a long time. Just you have some junior varsity players that just drift off. We tried to really be intentional to make sure that all members of the team felt valued. Like, what you're doing matters. This is a collective mission. What you're doing matters. I don't know if I answer your question, Justin. I keep skirting around. It's not soft. It's not soft. Relationships tough. Relationship building is tough. Emotions are hard. So if you think that's soft, try digging in and being vulnerable with somebody. That's hard stuff.
It is hard stuff. And I guess my question, if I were to continue down this vein of being a coach that might be a little bit skeptical, I'd say, okay, You talked a little bit about standards and holding them really high, and that you guys still play tough, and that you're holding people to accountability, and yet somehow you can still have high relationships. So tell me, Coach, how do you do that? How do you hold a high standard and have a high relationship at the same time? Like, I thought it was one or the other. No, I don't think that, but I'm playing the skeptic.
And this is such a great question. This is such a great question. That belief, that high support and high standards equal a transformational experience. I think that's something that we've all learned from JP or through JP and in the classes we've taken on leadership, where you really get that transformational approach. That's what we're aiming for. Hey, you could win a ton. You could win a ton with low relationships and high standards. You could drive it. You could squeeze guys. You could squeeze everything out of them, right? You could squeeze everything. You could be as tough on them and then just leave the gym, not talk to them. You cannot have a relationship, and you could probably win a ton of games, probably have high standards. But where does that leave your guys? Where does it leave them? And where does it leave your players after they're done playing for you? What are they equipped for? I think a goal of ours in our program is that we want our guys to just be going like this up as they go through their senior year and through graduation, where they're peaking every day. They just keep getting better. They have a growth mindset. They've been poured into. They've been equipped with the attitude and skill sets to embrace and love challenges, because the challenges won't stop coming. What are they going to do beyond your program? And that circles back to our why. We want to help create better husbands, fathers, and leaders. So the transformational approach, we're hoping that our guys learn how to win basketball games at a very high level. That's important because we want our guys to be good at stuff. Like, we want them to be a great dad. We want them to be a great husband. We want them to be a great business owner one day. But they have to realize that there's a lot of challenges that go with that. And to be great doesn't always mean winning on the scoreboard, but to be great is to give it your all and to try to show up for your kid one day, even when it's hard, even when you maybe don't feel well equipped to do it, just showing up. So for me, yes, you can win a lot of games. You can win a lot of games having a authoritarian approach, an approach where we have high standards and low relationships. I think you can win a lot of games, but where does that leave your athletes? And at the end of your life, where does that leave you too? Wins are fleeting. Relationships, I think, are what really matter in life.
Starting to sound like a young Rich Glass. I like it. It's
he's got a little bit of a more raspy voice. So I gotta pick that up. I don't know if that's 40 years of yelling about defense or what. I gotta pick up the rasp a little bit.
You're still young. You're still young. It's coming.
I appreciate it, Casey. I appreciate you answering that question.
Love hearing your heart. Love hearing what drives you, what gets you up in the morning. Your program you took over last year, part of the NCAA in the United States, and you guys are transitioning to NCAA Division II this year with the University of Jamestown Jimmies. Just real quick, just want to speak to that and the best part of that and the challenges of jumping up. In some ways, what people would see as two levels, for lack of a better, it's probably a bad analogy, but yeah, what's the best and hardest about that moving forward?
I love being here. University of Jamestown's awesome. I think it's a small private Christian school. It really fits my core values, and we just get to attack this challenge every day. That's the best part. It is a fun chapter for us. This program has experienced some incredible success at the NAIA level before our coaching staff got here, and now we have the responsibility and the challenge in front of us to bring it into NCAA Division II. And there is reinvested interest in a program that really you only get when you are having a new chapter like this, where it's a blank slate. Everybody's excited. It's something new. So that's really, really fun. The most challenging part, I don't think there's anything from a competitive standpoint. I think I'm very thankful for our administration and all the hard work that they put in to make this transition happen. They've had to go through a ton of different compliance and regulations and meetings and pay. It's on end. So I'm thankful for our president, our cabinet, our athletic director for everything they've done for me as a head coach and our student athletes. The challenge is the same as a program as everybody else. We're trying to be the best we can be in trying to help our guys become better people. So I'm just thankful. I think there's a lot of best to this transition at Jamestown. Hardest part's going to be playing Duluth, the teams like Duluth and Mankato, all the really good teams in that conference. It's a high level Division II basketball league, and we're going to give it our all. We're going to try to recruit tremendous people who can play the game at a high level and see how we can develop them over the course of 3, 4, 5 years.
Well, to give some perspective there, I heard Bruce Pearl say recently, like the high end Division II is probably stronger than the low end Division I. And so the basketball is great. And I'm tempted to make the 8-hour drive down to Jamestown.
Hey, like I said, I'm used to Saskatchewan guys coming in and staying at the house. So you guys, we got guest bedrooms. I'll get you a Jimmy shirt, and we don't have as nice as weather in Stone Harbor in January, but you guys are used to that. So we'll be. It's always sunny and 70 and 75 in the gym. That's what we tell recruits. So it's awesome.
Jamestown
awesome.
feels like the South for me. Anyways, yeah,
That's right. It's I appreciate Casey. Thanks for sharing just your heart about your program, about how you pour into your players and equip them to handle challenges at the next level. And it's about transforming them. I think that resonated really well with me today, and I believe it will for our listeners also.
Yeah, and I think one thing I leave everybody with, like, it's this coaching thing is challenging, but it's important. I think this is such an area where we can impact people's lives, young men and women in their journey to becoming the next generation of leaders for us. So I am here to support anyone I can. I have more failures and questions than answers for you, but we're all in this together, and we're all here to try to help be the best coaches we can be to impact our players and to help them grow on and off the playing field.
Amen, Casey. Amen. Thanks for tuning into the Grit and Growth podcast today, where we're focused on bringing on expert guests like Casey Bruggeman to talk about his pursuit of excellence in both life and sport. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Check out the Jamestown Jimmies to see what Casey's doing next year in NCAA Division II. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of the Grit and Growth podcast. We hope that you enjoyed today's guest and the answers that they were able to give and the stories they were able to tell. If you did enjoy today's episode, we'd ask that you would just follow or subscribe to our podcast. It does help us get the word out in our message. Thanks again. Have a great day.